It's probably something that a lot of you guys already have done, and it's also something that nobody is really thinking about when doing it, but I'm pretty scared when it comes to software updating. I actually don't really know the reason for that. I did have some trouble in the past with upgrading my software and major software upgrades like I'm doing today, going from High Sierra to MOJAVE. I always think that, you know, if you have a good working and running system, be really careful with it. Don't mess around too much with the software versions and stuff. You might think like, why are you upgrading then? Because you're happy with your setup. And actually, I'm not happy with my setup. It's a good setup. It's actually running pretty well, but the AVB can really be better. What I see and what I actually complained about to the guys that built my Mac Pro was that the latency was just too high, was not really acceptable. But I just went with it, and you know, my workflow is not really latency dependent. If I have a latency of 5 seconds, it still doesn't matter. I don't need to have live monitoring on headphones or something. I don't need it. It can be a lot better. I got messages from the guys that know more about AVB than I do and that built my system, that I really should upgrade to MOJAVE because the built-in AVB support is way better. It's also a feature that's almost not documented. So let's do that. And because I'm so scared about software updates, and it also because, you know, my Mac Pro is actually a pretty important piece in my studio, I want to play it safe. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a mirror copy on a hard disk. And I want to do that just to be safe. And if I cannot pull it off, I can, you know, at the end of today put back the mirror copy and be back to square one. But at least my company won't be hurt from it, because if that system is down for 5 days, I can go broke, I can go bankrupt. I mean, that's how important that system is. Now, apart from the physical, you know, folding your own body into a corner where it's not supposed to be, cloning your OS shouldn't be that difficult. It should really be a matter of how Linus would say it, bippity boppity boo. I think, no, that's my, I think, yeah, this one. So, you should have a you know, extra hard drive, and for that I'm removing one of my you know, storage drives, which I don't need for the update. And then you need to insert a blank hard drive or a hard drive that you can format. And what I do is I use Carbon Copy Cloner. It's a piece of software which makes a one-on-one copy, a bootable one-on-one copy of your system. Now the reason why I want to have a bootable copy and a one-on-one copy is because it's just the safest way, and I can, if I screw it up, still boot my system on a slower hard drive, and then from that system clone it back to my SSD again. Now I did this like 100 times already, the cloning of the system, so it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. It takes some time. You know, in some studios, for instance Sound Vision Studio, we have a second SSD built into the system. If the main system SSD crashes, or you know, somebody screws up a lot of settings, or you know, something goes wrong, we can directly boot from the second system, and within 5 minutes we can get it back up and running. Now turn it back on, and yeah, let's do some software stuff. So this video won't include screen grabs, because I can't run screen grabs during an update, because that runs on the Mac, and the software that does the update doesn't like to run the screen grabbing software. Yeah, of course. Now there it goes, and I hope that I did it correctly. I really hope it. What we're going to try after this is done is booting from that hard drive. Now again, to a lot of you guys, this may seem like I'm really overdoing it or overprotecting it, but you know, it's really important for me that if I want to, you know, in Holland we say prutsen, if I really want to play around with some stuff a bit, I really need to be sure that I can go back to my original system. Now, if you're wondering what you know, engineers like me do when they need to wait for a longer time and already had their 36th cup of coffee, playing some Roller Coaster Tycoon, of course. Best game in the world. Roller Coaster Tycoon on an iPhone. You know what system I needed like 20 years ago when I wanted to play Roller Coaster Tycoon? I really needed the most badass system, and now I'm just playing it on my phone. Okay. Yeah, this spot is way too narrow, so let's just Yankee ass that thing out of here and turn it back on. Also, you can easily run a Mac Pro with the side panel off. People that say you can't should try it out. Hey, ha! So here we are again. I did actually prepare this by downloading the installer. So this should be the installer. To install MOJAVE, a firmware update is required. Okay, need to wait until it's shut down. And what did it say? I didn't read the instructions. I'm also frustrated sometimes that I just can't read instructions or manuals. Did I need to first disconnect the power and then press the button, or keep it pressed? Keep it pressed. Keeping it pressed. Nothing happens. Aye, it's flashing. Now, that doesn't really sound nice, but I think it's all right. Let's just hope so. Did the instructions say this? I really can't remember. That's why you should read the manual, you idiot. Why don't you read the manual? Well, because I can't. I'm missing that chromosome. Read the manual. It's booting. It's booting! Okay. Is it booting into the installer or not? It's booting. This is not MOJAVE yet, right? Or is it? No, it couldn't be. Alright, so this is my main system again. Should I try it again? Install. Oh, now I can install. Okay, so I think we were successful at upgrading the EFI. And I'm pretty happy that it's still booted into High Sierra, because if you flash the firmware of your Mac, it would be like an Apple trick to say that I cannot run the old software anymore, just like they do with iPhones and stuff. But I'm pretty happy that it still at least boots into High Sierra. Again, I want to have the backup plan. I need to have a backup plan. So what we're now going to do is press continue. License agreement, yeah, of course. About 10 minutes remaining. It's really a hands-on job, this. You need to wait 25 minutes. Oh, this is too long. I'm going to eat. Bye-bye. All right, so while I was lunching, it apparently rebooted. 28 minutes remaining. I think I'm going to continue on my park. Look at this roller coaster. Look at this one. Whoa! Yeah, it doesn't really attract people. Oh, one is going in. Now, that looks promising. Although the text looks a bit weird, but I think it's not at the right resolution or something. But hey, that was pretty painless for now. But I hope everything is supported. I choose your look, light or dark. I really like the light look, actually. Setting up your Mac. Yeah, of course. Now I really hope that... I do have a problem with my screen. My secondary screen doesn't turn on. But it also says over here that yeah, my driver is out of date. So I think I need to fix that first. Alright, NVIDIA. NVIDIA, check now. No update available. Uh-oh. That's a problem. That's a... So, I'm Googling everywhere, and as far as I can see, it shouldn't be a problem since the driver for my video card, as far as I understand it, is included in macOS. But I'm not sure about that, but I think my card is an official Mac edition for the graphics card. But it's still strange that that other screen doesn't work. So I'm going to shut down and check the cables. Maybe I knocked something out of the port or something. Have you turned it off and back on again? Because that would really mean that I can't upgrade to MOJAVE yet. I really need both of my screens. How difficult can it be? And why is it that something works in one OS and then in the update, the better version of the OS, it doesn't work anymore? I really have trouble understanding that. Come on, give me my second screen. Give me Give me my... Boom! 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 Go! Boom! Is this really what is going to happen? Is this really where it's going to stop? Because I wasn't expecting it over here. This is really annoying. This is so utterly, if as British say, utterly annoying and utterly stupid. Look at this, look at this. So both of my screens are plugged in. Now, and if you use dual screen setup on macOS, you know how this screen should look. If I go to displays, you know that I should have like an arrangement and over here there should be another screen with the settings for that one. I've updated my OS. Now there isn't a driver for it, like no update available. There isn't a driver for it yet. So I've tried a few troubleshooting steps. One of them was, disconnecting the connector, reseating it again, booting it back up, still no second screen. Another one was, while the computer was turned on, disconnecting it, reseating again, turning off the display, all that kind of stuff. And the last step I did was disconnecting this display and rebooting. Then this display came on for a small part of the, boot, and then it went black and never came on again. So I've got a new game plan now, because what I think is happening is that my card is supported. I mean, what I tried was some Final Cut Pro video editing and stuff, and also all the transparencies and stuff are working just fine. Everything was working just fine, but what I think is I've always used the NVIDIA drivers and not the Apple built-in driver on this system. But in Mojave you can use the Apple built-in driver. And I think those two are interfering right now because it's still installed in Mojave. So I'm going to try a clean install just to make sure that it works. And then I think I need to continue the work on the install on a different day. That's not what I was planning to do actually. So I did read a knowledge base article from Apple which said that I needed to turn off a file vault. So I did that. It wasn't actually turned on because Pro Tools doesn't like that, and I sometimes still run Pro Tools. I'm just not sure anymore if the graphics card is Mac compatible. I think it isn't, and then I need to, I don't know actually. I'm losing it. I'm really starting to... wait, let me show you this. Installing macOS Mojave on this Mac requires that all graphics cards have metal support and that file vault is disabled. Visit blah 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 to learn more about the installation requirements for this Mac. I'm done with this. So there isn't nothing, I can only quit. The whole day, my whole day is... I've been, waiting on this thing the whole day. Like the installation, most of the times you're waiting. The Apple website says it's possible. GTX 680, it's possible. You can just install it with a GTX 680. I do have a 680 that even boots. It gives me all the boot screens and everything. It doesn't cut out during booting. So it's, I think, the correct one. I don't know it anymore. From what I've read is that Apple is really doing a poor job. I did address this in the past in a video that I think that Apple is, don't have their competences, or how do you say it? They don't have... They're not giving any more about their pro users, and this is again one of those situations. What is actually happening, from what I've read, is that NVIDIA wants to make drivers, but those drivers need to be signed so that it's, safe to use or something. I don't really understand how that works, but the drivers need to be signed by Apple, and Apple is refusing to sign those drivers. Apple does have drivers for the Mac edition of the GTX 680, but apparently not running the correct Mac edition for the GTX 680, although I think my card always worked well. So I think I am being caught up, and a lot of people are being caught up in a political battle between NVIDIA and Apple, and I don't think that should happen. With some research, I should have known this before, but the strange thing is that the people that recommended to me to install this are running on the same systems. So maybe a different iteration of the graphics card or something. I don't really know. So what I'm going to do now is, but I'm going to do that off camera, revert back to High Sierra and leave it at High Sierra, maybe forever. I don't know. And I'm going to post this video. You guys are thinking now, why are you posting a video of you failing? I think failure is also a part of life and should also be part of my channel. And you know, I've failed more than once on this channel already, so who cares? So it's pretty sad, and it always boggles my mind, like, how can it be that when you upgrade your operating system that suddenly out of the blue things are starting to work less? I mean, the graphics card was working and GPU acceleration was working. I mean, if you want to show some love, which I can use right now, consider supporting me on Patreon. But if that's too much, watching my videos is also a lot of help to me. So I will link one over here. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and what else? Maybe some of you guys have the ultimate solution for this. I just hope that if I revert back to my main system again, that everything runs as I'm expecting.